So one of the things that we've realized in the last 2.5 years, over 2.5 years of farming, is that weather has become quite unpredictable. And for instance, this year it started raining in the last 2 weeks of January. We got very heavy rains. And then uh, the rains disappeared completely. And then now, yesterday, we got some rains in February. So we don't know whether it's going to continue raining all the way to March, or it's also going to pause again and then start raining in March. It's a bit unpredictable. And one of the things we plan to do on the farm is to actually move away from rain-fed agriculture to be able to grow food throughout the year. And those are plans that we have. Hopefully we can be able to accomplish them this year. So for today, we are going to show you a bit of work that we've been doing on the farm, a bit of farm updates, what's been going on. Yeah, so come along with us and we hope that you enjoy the video. So a few weeks ago, we harvested the first arrowroots on this area. And you can see they're still, the ones that were remaining are still doing well, and the ones that we replanted, you can see some new leaves have started popping. And the other thing that we have done is that behind me you can see we've planted some maize and beans for this season. And this is the first place that we planted for this project. And we have been planting upward. We have about 4 divisions of the farm on this area. So this is the first division. This is the first place we planted. And then, yeah, so this is the second division. And we have also planted maize and beans. So we can go to the partition between the second and the third division. And I'll show you some very healthy cassavas that are doing well. They're not yet ready. They've been there for about slightly over 4 months. So we'll wait for them to mature and then we'll harvest them. So let's go to the third division. So we just showed you between the first partition and the second partition of the land, we have some arrowroots. Then now between the second and the third partition, we have this amazing healthy cassava, which are yet to mature. And then apart from the cassava, we also have more arrowroots. So between the second and third partition, that's what we have. And then apart from that, on the third partition, we have these citrus fruits just at the edge, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 citrus fruit trees. One of the fruit trees that we've realized is a bit hectic to grow is actually the citrus fruits, whether they are lemons, tangerines, oranges. They really get infested with a lot of, what are they called? Ants. They really get infested by these small, I think they're ants or something. And what happens is sometimes they eat, the leaves become black. I think we have also aphids that really like these leaves. And then sometimes all the leaves fall off and the plant starts growing afresh. So those are the challenges that we've been having on the citrus plants. The bigger ones are on the other farm, but I've seen the same challenges are coming to these other ones. We're not sure what they are. They could be lemons, oranges, tangerines. We are not sure. We just transplanted them from the upper part of the farm. Yeah. Yeah, so still on that partition of the land. A couple of days ago, we've also planted maize and beans. And the thing that we've done this season is that usually we plant yellow maize only on this land. But this time round, we've done a mix. So about half of it is white maize and about half of it is yellow maize. And we've also planted 2 varieties of beans. So still on this area, we have maize and beans. So now we'll go to the 4th partition. So actually I forgot there are 5 partitions, not 4. So the 4th partition is where we are going to be working on today. And yeah, just follow us and see what kind of work goes into planting this land. So now between the 3rd and the 4th partition of the land, we also have some cassavas. We didn't plant this napier grass. The previous owner had planted napier grass, so we'll get rid of it. We intend to put 2 rows of arrowroot. If we get them this season, well and good. If we don't, then in the next season we'll put 2 rows of arrowroot in between the third and the 4th partition. Now this is where we are going to plant the maize and beans today. In the previous season, on this partition of the land, we had some potatoes here, and a lot of you have told us that the animal that was eating our potatoes is probably called a gopher. So we had an issue with that. So that's why this season we are not going to plant any potatoes here. We're going to do maize today and beans, and we're going to show you how we do it. We have other things on this 4th partition of the land. That's where we have the groundnuts and more sweet potatoes. Still, we had an issue with gophers eating our sweet potatoes. So we are not even sure we'll get any sweet potatoes from here. But today, we are going to also check, once we are done with the planting, we are going to check whether our groundnuts are ready. They've been here for over 4 months. And when the land was prepared for us to come and plant, we've seen a lot of groundnuts exposed. So that's why we are going to, we've seen a sieve. They look like they are mature. So we are going to check that, and hopefully we can get a few groundnuts from this area. So we've decided to first check on the groundnuts, see what we can get before we start planting. Okay, so first of all, I don't know how to tell if they are ready, but I'll just let me open a small one so that I don't waste. Um, so, okay, I've removed this is the groundnut, what is it called? This is the groundnut skin. I think they are ready. What do you think? Yeah, so uh, let's check another one. They don't look very healthy, but let's just check another one. I think they could have produced more, but these are very first time doing groundnuts. So these ones look as if they were not ready, apart from this one. We have some that really look terrible. These ones don't have anything. In fact, they've started rotting. But what do you think we should do? We just harvest them, right? Yeah, so I think we just harvest them. We get what we'll get, and then we'll decide whether we'll plant groundnuts again, probably on the upper part of the farm, not here. Today we are going to plant maize and beans.
back to that time. One good friend was in my life. California seems so far away from me, from me, from me. Made my first album. It came out the same day as Kanye's. I made my best single. Came out and felt so great.
So we've just finished planting the maize. We've planted yellow maize and some beans. Now we are removing the groundnuts. So first of all, the reason why we've harvested these groundnuts, they've been here for over 4 months. We don't know the variety, but they've been here for more than 4 months. So that's why we've harvested them. And being the very, very, very first time that we are doing groundnuts, we've not done too badly. Of course, we had a couple of plants that didn't produce any groundnuts. Again, the challenges we had on this part of the farm is that it's very, the farm is like on top of a hill. So because of that, there's a lot of erosion. And although we had created some mounds when we were planting the groundnuts, by the time we are harvesting, those mounds are almost not visible. So there was a lot of exposure for the plant. But all in all, we're going to eat our own groundnuts for the first time. And I don't think this is the last time we are going to plant groundnuts. We'll probably plant them on the upper part of the farm. This area where we've harvested the groundnuts, we plan to do cassava. So that will be done in the next couple of weeks. We're going to plant cassavas here. We've just planted the maize on the edges of the farm, but most of the farm here will have cassavas. We had thought of putting more sweet potatoes, but because of the gopher issue, we've decided not to do that. So we'll plant cassavas on this area. So now almost at the tail end of removing the groundnuts from the plants. We do have other groundnuts on the upper part of the farm, so we're also going to harvest them, but they're not as many as the ones we had here, although the plants look more healthy compared to this part of the farm. Yeah, so far this is what we have. I don't think this would be sufficient to make peanut butter, but we'll definitely enjoy eating the groundnuts. So we are going to dry them. When we finish from the upper part of the farm, we are going to dry them, and then we'll just prepare the groundnuts and eat them after some time. So we just came back from the lower part of the farm. Now we are in the upper part of the farm, and we're going to harvest some groundnuts. They're not as many as we had down there, and also some 3 pumpkins that are ready. Yeah. Very healthy. Can't compare with. Wow. So the upper part of the farm seems to be have better soil for the groundnut. So I think it's a good decision we made to we'll plant them on the upper part of the farm. As you can see, they are giving us more. Ish, my goodness. I'm amazed. So now we are finishing up removing the groundnuts from the plant on the upper part of the farm. We've really enjoyed, like there's no single plant that we've not removed groundnuts on the upper part of the farm, and there were many. They were like triple what we were getting on the lower part of the farm. So given that the number of plants here was less, it looks as though we've gotten more from these plants, more than what we had at the lower part of the farm. And this could be because on the upper part of the farm we do use a lot of compost and manure, and we didn't have enough to use on the lower part of the farm where we had the groundnuts. So remember, ours is organic farming. We don't add any chemicals. I don't know that people grow groundnuts with any synthetic fertilizers, but for us on the upper part of the farm, we use a lot of manure. So definitely this season we are going to add more groundnuts, but mostly now on the upper part of the farm. Yeah, so we hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll definitely show you how we are going to use the groundnuts on the farm. Now I think we can have enough for a little peanut butter, but we'll see. We'll see once we remove the outer, what is it called, the pod? I think it's called the pod. We'll see how many groundnuts we get. But I hope you've enjoyed just seeing some of the activities that we do on the farm. It's not an easy process, as we say. But just done our planting, then harvested some pumpkin and groundnuts, and a lot of these things that we are doing were really experimental. It's our first groundnut harvest, and we think we can do better in the next season. So we're looking forward to that. We'll definitely try and put some more land on the upper part of the farm to have groundnuts. So tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the home for all the self-sufficiency farmers. Subscribe, share a comment down there. Tell us what has been your experience if you've grown groundnuts before. Give us your experience, give us some tips how we can improve. And yeah, we'll see you next week on another video. Bye bye.